Hi guys, one day it shows Sandy who had just returned from the nut barn while eating the food she was carrying as her supply. The food even danced on her tongue. Without realizing it, she bumped into an unfinished marble structure, causing Sandy to fall. Not only that, the helmet she was wearing leaked, causing water to get inside. Sandy then immediately left until she arrived at her house. She then immediately took a helmet from its storage place, but unfortunately the helmet fell because Sandy's hands were covered in dust from the nuts. She then immediately called and ordered her helmet. However, it turned out the helmet was out of stock. Shipping alone would take about 1 month to arrive at her house. Because of that, Sandy immediately spent her time having fun while waiting for the helmet to arrive. She played all kinds of games, hoping her helmet would arrive soon. But as time went by, those games made Sandy very bored. She could no longer enjoy her fun time. Finally, boredom began to be experienced by Sandy. At that time, Sandy even started hallucinating and talking with her nuts. Until finally, she took the initiative to call some of her friends. But after a while, she couldn't reach them because they were still busy. Meanwhile, Sandy took the initiative to use a security drone remotely and flew it. There, Sandy looked at a screen and saw Mrs. Puff teaching her student who was learning to drive a boat. Her student looked scared there, and because Sandy was bored, the vehicle the student was driving crashed into a wall. Mrs. Puff, who was sleeping, finally woke up, but it was only for a moment, and she eventually went back to sleep. Sandy then looked at Larry, who was on the beach exercising on a chair, but still Sandy felt bored because Larry was just lifting those exercise equipment. Finally, the mischievous Sandy nudged Larry slightly, causing his equipment to fall. The drone then headed towards the Krusty Krab restaurant. There she saw Mr. Krabs counting his money. Sandy still felt bored, so she nudged Mr. Krabs' money, causing it to fly everywhere. The drone was then flown again until it hit the marble structure, which was now even taller, and it turned out that was the doing of Plankton, who was making something. There, Plankton noticed the drone aircraft. Finally, Plankton became furious and immediately hit it, causing the drone to fall. Then Sandy immediately repaired the damaged drone, while calling Spongebob to help her spy on Plankton. But he was exploring the mustard mine. Where there, the careless Spongebob was immediately attacked by a gorilla. Sandy did not give up. She then immediately called Patrick, who was relaxing. There, Sandy asked for his help to spy on Plankton, so Patrick immediately agreed. He then immediately went to her house. There, Sandy attached a camera to his pointy head while telling him his mission to spy. Patrick then immediately went outside, with his very serious gaze. He looked in every direction, but that made Sandy immediately control the drone, causing Patrick to spin around in the air until he arrived at Plankton's yard. There, coincidentally, Plankton had gone. Meanwhile, Patrick ate food that was in a box, but the food was very unfit to eat. He then found a plutonium box, which made Sandy panic immediately. Because she thought Plankton was going to destroy the Krusty Krab restaurant using his atomic weapon. Sandy then immediately pulled out her laser so that she could prevent it. There, Patrick, who was still calmly relaxing, accidentally stepped on the material, causing Patrick to fall. There, finally, Plankton arrived. There, Plankton immediately asked Patrick what his purpose was at his place, but as usual, Patrick, who was incoherent, made Plankton angry. Finally, Sandy immediately got ready to release her laser weapon to destroy the marble structure. But there, the truth began to be revealed, that all this time, Plankton was only making a billboard to promote his restaurant. However, unfortunately, the laser could not be stopped, and in the end, it destroyed that billboard, and it hit Mr. Krabs' restaurant, destroying it. Although sad, Plankton was very happy, because he had succeeded in destroying his old enemy's restaurant. Finally, Sandy accommodated all of Mr. Krabs' customers at her house. Not long after that, Sandy's ordered helmet arrived, but it turned out the helmet was broken, because it got crushed by Mr. Krabs' restaurant order. Sandy, who was desperate, finally went crazy because she had to wait another 6 weeks at her house, and then the movie ended, guys.